Sometimes it's not that you feel behind. It's that you feel like time is moving faster than you are. You wake up and realize another year passed, another season, another version of you that never fully happened. You see people your age certain about where they're going, and you're still trying to understand where you are. And quietly, a question starts forming. Am I running out of time? That's the pressure, not comparison, timing. But what if you're not late? What if you're just measuring your life with the wrong clock? There was once a town that lived beneath a clock tower. The town was ordinary. Stone streets worn smooth from years of footsteps. Shops that opened when the bell rang. Doors that closed when it rang again. The clock tower stood above everything. And over time, something subtle happened. People stopped checking the clock for the hour. They started checking it for reassurance. If the hands were moving quickly, they moved quickly. If they weren't where they thought they should be when the bell rang, they felt behind. No one questioned it. They adjusted themselves instead. One season, the clock began running slightly fast. No announcement, no warning. Just enough. Enough that mornings felt shorter. Enough that rest felt indulgent. Enough that people began saying, "We're running out of time," even when nothing urgent was happening. And here's what changed. The clock didn't just affect schedules, it affected identity. Because when time feels scarce, you begin to measure your worth by speed. There was a young man in that town who felt it constantly. Each time the bell rang, his chest tightened. Not because he had somewhere to be, but because he felt he wasn't becoming who he should be fast enough. He wasn't lazy. He worked, he improved, he tried new things. But every time he made progress, the clock still seemed ahead. He started waking earlier, cutting conversations short, turning hobbies into productivity, turning rest into strategy. But the faster he moved, the less grounded he felt. And something strange began happening. He stopped asking what felt meaningful. He started asking what looked impressive. He stopped building depth. He started chasing proof. And quietly, he began to feel smaller. When you feel behind long enough, you don't just doubt your timing, you doubt yourself. The worst part wasn't the clock, it was comparison. He would see someone confident in the square and assume they were ahead. He would see someone certain about their future and assume they had clarity he didn't. He didn't see their doubt. He didn't see their late nights. He only saw their surface. And he compared his internal confusion to their external certainty. That comparison distorted everything. Because when you compare your inside to someone else's outside, you will always feel behind. But he didn't realize that yet. He just felt the pressure. One afternoon, overwhelmed, he sat beside the fountain. The bell rang again. Sharp, demanding. Across the square, beneath an old tree, sat an elderly man. Still, not reacting, not adjusting, just present. There was something almost unsettling about that calm. So he walked over. "How are you not bothered by it?" he asked. "By what?" the old man replied. "The clock, it's always ahead. It makes everyone feel late." The old man looked at the tower, then back at him. "That isn't time," he said quietly. "That is a machine." They climbed the narrow steps inside the tower. Gears turned, metal clicked, chains lifted. A caretaker stood beside them. "We adjusted it," the caretaker admitted. "It was too slow. People said the town felt behind, so we sped it up." The young man stared at the gears. The clock wasn't truth. It was opinion. It had been changed, and now everyone was obeying it. The old man rested his hand against the wall. Everyone wanted the clock to match their fear, he said, and now they call it reality. Here's what we miss. We assume growth should look like visible progress. It doesn't. Progress is public. Growth is private. And when you measure private growth with public time, you will always feel late. Maybe that's what's happening to you. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're measuring your life by announcements, by milestones that were never designed for you, by expectations you didn't choose. Let me ask you something. If no one could see your timeline, if there were no comparisons available, would you still believe you were behind? Or would you simply be in the middle of becoming? Because there's a difference. Being behind means you missed something. Becoming means you're still unfolding. Those are not the same thing. There is another clock. It doesn't hang above a square. It doesn't ring bells. It measures alignment. It measures honesty. It measures whether what you're building feels like yours. That clock cannot be sped up by fear. It cannot be slowed by comparison. It only moves when you do. And maybe the goal was never to be on time by someone else's measurement. Maybe the goal was to build something real. Real things don't rush. They deepen. So if you feel behind right now, maybe you are not late. Maybe you are not failing. Maybe you are simply using a clock that was never calibrated for your life. Let the bell ring. Let others run. Let the world measure speed. And you measure meaning. Because the goal was never to arrive quickly. The goal was to arrive fully. And that cannot be rushed.